the oldest magic in history is our ability to make signs and symbols. So it's my belief, right, that for as long as human beings have been able to create symbols, that they have been fascinated with them as a way to organize, comprehend, and explore the inner world. And so we can't really talk too rigidly about any of these things. We have to kind of dance with these subjects in a way. And that's what I want to kind of do with this channel, is I want to be able to explore these things with as much nuance and subtlety and kind of open-mindedness as possible. Because I'm not interested in getting to the truth per se. Everyone has an idea of what the truth is. I'm just trying to get an idea of the terrain and the things that may be connected and any insights we may be able to cultivate through exploration. And as an artist, I'm always interested in insight and beauty and the tension between beauty and utility, function and form. And I think that symbolism holds a lot of that tension, right? Because it's like we're part function, we're part form. As human beings, we need both. We crave beauty, but we also crave utility. We need things to be useful, not just beautiful. But if they're only useful and they're not beautiful, they feel kind of dead. They feel kind of mechanical. And so I think that magic and creativity and human dreaming and religion and philosophy and all of these more esoteric, inward-angled subjects are human beings' attempts at exploring and cultivating insight of the inner world and our connection to anything higher, God, essentially. So these are the subjects that I want to discuss here, and I hope you will come with me on this journey. I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I was a kid, I often had very strange dreams, prophetic dreams, you might say. And it's not like I would have a dream that would come true in its entirety. I don't think I was that gifted or that cursed. But what I would have, and which was strange enough and frightening enough sometimes, was that pieces of my dreams would come true with very, very specific accuracy. And I often wondered what this meant. I wondered what this meant for me as a person, what this meant for the notion of free will, fate, destiny, etc. People might hear that and say, that's bullshit, that's nonsense. But this channel is a place where I want to be able to not just explore art and creativity and spirituality and human dreaming in a objective way, but also in a subjective way. I want to be able to talk about my own personal experiences, the things I've learned, the insights I think I've cultivated. If I can help someone else to understand themselves better and the world in which they live better, then I think this kind of exploration will be very useful for my time. I also believe that art is extremely powerful. It's not just casual entertainment. And I'm not just talking about highbrow art either. I'm talking about all forms of art. I'm talking about the whole gamut. The entire spectrum of creativity, I believe, is sacred and essential to understanding human beings on a deeper level. So I don't really have a kind of attitude or an ego when it comes to art. Or at least I hope not. I love pop culture as much as I love the classics. And I think that magic and creativity can be found in the entire range of human expression. Another thing that fascinates me is the human desire to connect with God, to find communion with God. And I believe that we often do that most succinctly and most powerfully through storytelling. We can have religions, right? And we can have forms of spirituality. Take your pick as to which one you believe or which one you resonate with, how you were raised, etc. But it's often that we feel at our most spiritual, at our most in communion with something higher or something deeper when we are able to experience a narrative of some kind. We're able to be taken on a journey where we feel certain things and we come face to face with certain things, and we're able to make certain connections and link those connections through time, or at least through a creative version of time. let's say, a compressed, dramatically enhanced version of time, which is usually what a narrative structure is. And it's my belief that narrative structure is a kind of master key to understanding bigger subjects like philosophy, like human dreaming, like our fascination with religion. I think there is a deep, deep, deep human need for storytelling, for narrative, and for the need to influence reality in a way that seems extraordinary. How do we do that? Generally speaking, human beings do that through art, through creativity, through music, through writing, through poetry. We might not call it an attempt to reach for God. We might not call it that. And yet, that's essentially what we're doing, oftentimes. You might substitute God for morality or humanism or just general good feeling towards your fellow man. However you want to phrase it, it's reaching towards things that we find sublime and beautiful and filled with a greater meaning than can be seen on the surface. Many people are comfortable framing that as man's search for God. I am extremely comfortable framing that as man's search for God because I believe in God. I believe in a higher power of some kind. I've experienced it firsthand to the point where all doubt was taken from my mind. And that's a very deep, interconnected topic that I will be happy to explore here another time. The oldest magic in history is our ability to make signs and symbols, to make shapes in the mud, in the sand. I am sure, and I'm certain that human beings stood on the shore at sunset, at sunrise, at dusk, and they peered out into the waves and they wondered about God. Or they stood on the banks of the river. They made shapes in the mud, in the sand. The waves would come in and wash those shapes away, and they wondered about the depths of their own consciousness and what it means to dream, what it means to have an interior life, what it means to symbolize something as something else. And it's a fascination that human beings haven't really ever given up. It's a fascination that has powered the engineering of entire societies. Our entire human infrastructure is based on this kind of wonder and this drive, this desire to create, this desire to comprehend, to understand. And even the most logical minded of us, the most atheistic, the most nuts and bolts, hardline, hard science types of individuals still appreciate the numinous, the magical, the esoteric. They just call it different things. They call it art, they call it music. They sit back and they listen to Tchaikovsky or Mozart or Beethoven and they wonder. They feel sublime, they feel awe, they muse on the nature of their own lives, their mistakes, their successes, their failures. And as a result, if they don't feel closer to God, they feel at least closer to themselves or closer to a sense of meaning in their life. And I don't think you can separate God or good feeling or good vibes or purpose from a sense of meaning. And so these are the things I want to explore. And I hope you're excited to come along with me. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Peace.